You're right, guys. Gangrene UK all together. And we wanted to do a game review of what we've just saw. So we've got Kane, Otis, and James, which is really weird seeing them all in front instead of on different boxes. How are we feeling, guys?
Good to be together. The result was a bit rough, mate, but
yeah, much the same. It's been great to chill out and talk to each other directly during the game and talk about what's going on. But it was a tough watch today. We knew there was going to be growing pains, but I think that was pretty extreme.
How are you, Kane? How are you feeling?
It was rubbish. The defense, okay.
Yeah, I don't think we can be unhappy with it, really. There was positives. There wasn't positives in certain places, but there was positives in the whole game when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, when you do 4 interceptions, you should be down by 28 points. We didn't lose by that many even in the end. So, defense, very good.
Yeah.
I think you raised it in the game. Zach throwing to the tight end on the run.
Yeah.
In the first half, that's where he made the mistake and went further.
Yeah.
This time he learned from it. That's an improvement.
Yeah.
I think that after the first tip today from Zach, that got intercepted, he threw a lot high to avoid the tips. Last week, he was throwing a couple high, but he got some tips.
Yeah.
So I think with the tips, that's to be expected. I don't think by any means he's a flop. I don't think we should have picked anybody else. I think Zach is the right pick for where we're at.
Yeah. I think there's some definite development required, but the talent that he flashes and the throws that he can make suggest that there's no reason why he can't go on and achieve big things in the league. It's just going to be a case of being patient. Obviously, that's something that a few people have discussed today. Perhaps should be more patient with Sam Darnold, given his performance at the Panthers last week and then this week again. He looked very good. But I think that's the Jets' way. We just need to learn to be a little bit more patient and make sure that we, end up picking the right guy and sticking with him and giving him a chance.
This is the second game for a rookie quarterback, and that really so.
brought up earlier that Peyton Manning's rookie season was 28 interceptions, mate. We're growing pains, and as Otis said, he was still making those really exciting plays where he'd run out and side on 30 yards. There's a lot to be excited about still.
Yeah, I don't think it's dampened my spirits. I mean,
Temporarily.
No, even now I'm not as heartbroken as I would have been if we'd have stuck with Sam and we'd have had the same.
Yeah.
We've had this situation where we've played against the Patriots many a time, and it's never really worked out for us over the last few years.
Yeah.
I mean, this time last year we were all trying to find the Ghostbusters, find out what went on. Kane was there with his extraterrestrial kit, searching for whatever he could. But in total today, I'm not disappointed. I didn't expect us to win. No. It was a further score gap than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
But I think defense were unbelievable. I think Marcus May, CJ Mosley, and Carter all played well. Yes, there was some stupid flags.
Yeah.
But even on the box scores, we were a lot better than.
Yeah.
I mean, we had 68 players to 57. We had 336 total yards to 260.
Yeah.
We had 8 penalties against 6, so the penalties cost us. We had 4 turnovers. That killed us off. But actually, he only scored off one of them.
Yeah. And it's showing that he can move the ball when we're not making those mistakes. So if he can go through the rookie highs, the rookie lows, and start to cut out those mistakes, if he continues to move the ball like he is the rest of the time, then there's going to be a lot of points put up and we're going to be in a lot of good positions. There was a couple of times today in particular, we have the good field position off the kick straight out of bounds and we throw the interception. If he travels that 20 yards instead of the pick, it's straight away easy 3 points, and he had good field position. So I think it's just rookie mistakes and learning as a rookie. I think that's the thing to look at.
Right. So what do we think of Mac Jones? We have to talk about him. He was there when we picked.
Yeah. King of the check down, like right here, really. Just I didn't see anything too impressive. It was just check down.
How many yards do you think he had passing?
I think about 180. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So Zach had 184.
Yeah.
He had 159. So I mean, for me, he didn't look. He looked like he was in a stabler team.
Yeah, and I think that's the fair assessment. He's with an established offensive coordinator with a good line, a good run game, and somebody that knows how to game plan. You know, they look stable. They look like they're just sort of plodding along, doing what the Patriots always do, which is, you know, the reason why they've competed for so long. It's just make the right decision at the right time and you'll be okay. And that's sort of been the mantra of the Patriots for a long time, hasn't it?
So we actually also had more first downs in the game, which I was shocked at. I mean, only by one, but we actually had more time in possession and more plays. The thing that killed us are penalties and turnovers. But the defense saved us on 3 turnovers.
Yeah, I was impressed considering how long the defense had been on the field with the quality that they continued to put out. Usually when you see a defense on the field for that long, particularly after so many turnovers, by the end of the game, it's essentially a run offense for the other team and it's just grinding the clock out. But the defense continued to try and stop the run and were effective. They weren't just giving up loads of yards. And it's the second game that, okay, we've lost, but we've held the opposition offense to under 300 yards. So obviously this week against the Patriots and the first week against the Panthers, exactly the same thing, both under 300 yards.
Yeah, I mean, right. We'll move off quarterbacks after this bit, but Mac Jones had 22 for 30, right, with 86 yards. Zach was 19 for 33 with 210 yards. The only difference between them on their scorecard is 4 interceptions, and they only scored off one of them. So for me, if you're going to be going, Zach was crap, Mac Jones was worse. And that's the black and white of it, because they didn't score off 4 golden opportunities. Right. Last week, we all kind of a bit down on the next position. Yeah, absolutely. So Michael Carter, guys, Ty Johnson, and that waste of space, Coleman.
Yeah, I think it demonstrated yet again why the NFL is a young back league and why having a veteran presence, okay, it's handy, but it's not the be all and end all. I was very, very impressed by Carter this week. Didn't give up on runs, continued to try and make people miss even in tough situations. And Johnson looked like he got his head down really well and made some hard carries, which at the end of the day, when you've got a back like Carter, what you're after is that bruising back to make those hard yards. And it looked like this week Johnson was doing that.
Well, Carter was team leader.
Yeah.
With 11 attempts for 59 yards. Now the betting was on 60 plus, so I'm a bit gutted about that extra yard. But I think, yeah, you summed it up really well. I think Johnson was running back like he did in Maryland. I think seeing Carter run properly, I think the line opened up some great lanes. I mean, there was still by no means like superstars.
Breaking tackles as well, Carter, today. There was a big play where he had about 2 lads on him and he got up and ran for another 10.
Yeah, I mean, his legs looked good. He was moving really well. Some really nice turns and cuts. Yeah, I mean, they aren't up on my stat list yet. Normally we have like full stat list from when we're doing this. It's not like 15-20 minutes after the game and after like 10 40-inch pizzas. But I think running backs, after an abysmal performance last week, they've redeemed themselves. I am still excited to see LaMichael P. Ryan. I think he brings a little bit more of a bruiser.
Certainly a better option than Coleman, I think. If they're looking to use 3 backs every game, I'd much rather see P. Ryan, Johnson, and Carter than I would have Coleman in there.
Yeah, well, Johnson went for 12 for 50 yards. His average is 4.2 and his longest was 17.
Yeah.
Coleman, 5 for 24, 4.8 average with 17 long.
Yeah.
And Zach went for 3, got 19 yards with an average of 6.3, and his long was 10.
Zach chose some good spots to run in the second half. That was nice to see, just using his legs, trusting what he was seeing. And also towards the end of the game, he started a little more accurate. We mentioned high throws earlier. He certainly didn't hit so many high throws in the fourth quarter. Again, he looked like he'd worked out what he was doing again. We also used some up tempo, which I think is proving to work for him. So that's something we're going to have to look at building in earlier in games, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. Now, one thing mentioned, coaching, game management and planning. Now, I know we've talked about it quite a lot with Salah in his first year in San Fran, where everybody wanted rid of him. I genuinely do believe that Salah is the type of coach who, it's almost like an omelette coach. You've got to break some eggs. It's got to get ugly before it gets better.
Yeah.
Are we in agreement, or is anybody like, we're going to shine still?
This is first year. We're going to learn, isn't it?
Oh, he's definitely learning.
I think as Ken says, it's going to be a case of learning as he goes, and particularly with a first-year offensive coordinator as well. It's not like he's got an experienced guy maybe to lean back on as an OC and go, what would you have done in this situation, or what would you do in this situation? It's all new for both of them.
Yeah, I feel that that's a big position where we've lost in with losing Greg now.
Yeah.
He had that experience. He was that passing game. He was that voice in the ear from above.
Yeah.
I love the fact LaFleur is down, but I voiced it during the game. He's not off the bench enough.
Yeah.
To be able to get a good read, which I think that's why we only noticed the changes coming at half time.
Yeah.
When he can. So I think we might have to look at that dynamic a little bit. We never know. It might happen. It might not. How are we feeling about tight ends, guys? Because I know that was another one where we were a little bit like.
Griffin shouldn't be in the game for a while. Like, he's awful.
Yeah, I mean, I remember 2 years ago when the Jets faithful were calling Ryan Griffin the next bloody Travis Kelce. Ryan Griffin is a great red zone tight end because he's big and he can take a hit. But he's nothing more than that, and he can't pretend, can't block. He couldn't block me. I'm 5'5". Yeah, I don't really feel tight ends have lived up.
No, Croft's the only one that's performing anywhere near his potential, and I think that potential is really a second string tight end, not a first, but we're having to make do with him as a first. He's made some nice catches, he's blocked fairly well, but I would say he's only a serviceable option. I wouldn't say he's a starting option. Really.
Yeah, well, our tight ends scored us 18 yards tonight on 3 attempts.
Yeah.
Like 3 attempts is what Chris Herndon got last year off one play.
Yeah.
Like one drive would get him 3 attempts. I know we've changed the format that we play, but even Corey Davis, 2 for 8, with a longest of 5.
Yeah, Davis had a tough game. They said
I mean, they were going to mark him out, but then Elijah Moore, Braxton Berrios, they really capitalised on that.
Yeah.
Berrios, he has got to be our most underrated tool.
Yeah. And I think that's showing all the time, isn't it? He's consistently out on the field and they're using him as that utility man.
Yeah. Well, 7 receptions, 73 yards, average of 10.4, a long of 27 today. I mean, that's like, if we give you a number 2, number 3 wide receiver and said he's going to get 74 yards, he's going to do this, you're going to be like, I'll take that all day.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Jets fans seem to think that he should be on 100 plus a game. Elijah Moore was so much better today.
Yeah.
But at no point do I think we even saw what he's capable of.
No, there's more to come from Moore, I think. And particularly once Zach gets into a rhythm and cuts out some of the mistakes, I think people like Moore will benefit hugely. And I say he'll benefit when Corey Davis is the highlight of all the attention like today. It was obvious that the Patriots' game plan to attack Corey Davis as much as possible on defense. And I think Elijah Moore will get better and better at capitalizing on that.
100%. Right. Defense.
Who's next?
Three.
Great.
Who are we screaming about?
Yeah, John Franklin Myers, I agree with Ken, was fantastic. I thought he was brilliant.
So
Again,
I think Franklin Myers was 2 assisted tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble. 3 tackles in total, which I'm pretty happy with that. That's solid.
Mosley was flying around as well. I thought.
Mosley, 10 tackles, 3 assisted tackles. Which, I mean, you take that.
that it's on for over 100 tackle season, which is, really 100 tackle season is the minimum requirement for my middle linebacker. Well, he could do that in the next 12 games. So that's serious. That's good numbers. Yeah, very good numbers.
Michael Carter. Now, I think we've all got hopes pegged on Carter. Like, not even running back Carter, we're talking cornerback. Like, we need him to kind of elevate himself to a level below, or even 2 levels below Revis. We haven't invested much in him.
No.
I mean, he was mid to late round pick, but 8 tackles, 4 assisted tackles. You know what? Again, against the Patriots, where they normally make it hard on corners.
Yeah, I actually thought all the young corners played well again today. I didn't think Bryce Hall had a bad game. I didn't think Eccles had a particularly bad game. Javelin Gridry, when he came in to replace Eccles, played well. I think generally overall the cornerbacks held up fairly well again today, and especially when you add in the cover of May all over the field, it seemed like May was everywhere again today.
Yeah, Marcus May's 6 tackles, 2 assisted tackles, and 1 sack. I mean, yeah, you get I'm looking through the numbers, and you're exactly right. Eccles, I feel like he's kind of shown himself to be very, very scary to quarterbacks. And I don't know why, because we don't see it because it doesn't translate into plays. But people are not throwing to Eccles.
Yeah, they don't throw his weight, do they?
No, like he had 1 tackle, but he was there the whole game. Well, till he went out.
Yeah.
And you look at it and go, well, they're looking at it and going, we're not throwing that way. So he's either marking a second-rate man, or they're looking at him going, yeah, we don't fancy our chances there.
And he had one of the tougher assignments today as well, because he was playing slot against Myers. And Myers is probably, at the moment, Matt Jones' favourite receiver, so he was also marking their top guy, really. And Myers didn't have a huge day either. Myers didn't put up big numbers, really.
So one thing I'm really happy about today, we only punted once.
Yeah. Although I would rather punt than 4 interceptions, so perhaps we'll gloss over that.
Oh yeah, let's gloss over it. So he hit a 45-yard kick, and then it bounced out, which ideal, really good field position. Wait, that was the one that bounced out, wasn't it? No, sorry. It dropped in on the 35, and they were there straight away. Fair catch.
Yeah, fair catch, wasn't it? From the 10.
Really, punting, obviously, man's down. Man down. I like that one. I'll tickle myself. The worry was there bringing in a fresh kick punter.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. We didn't ask too much of him,
No.
which, yes, I would have rather punted more than interceptions, but actually, it's a new punter. Let's not put too much on him.
Yeah.
Kicking.
Very so-so in my opinion, but again, he hasn't had huge exposure yet, has he? He's not spent lots of time on the team, so it's just one of those, I guess.
He's a rookie.
Yeah.
He didn't try a kick last week.
Yeah.
So in these 2 games, he's had 3 attempts and he's made 2. He's long. He's NFL long is 35 yards.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean, he'll always make it as a punter if he doesn't make it as a kicker. But I'm not upset with him. I think
No, it'll take time and adjusting to the new holder as well with the new punter, as you mentioned earlier. I think that's another thing to bear in mind. And I think it'll be okay once he settles in.
Yeah. I don't think we need to go through New England stats. We know who was big. Harris, 16 attempts.
Yeah, but running backs had a good day, didn't they, for them? They spread the work well. Harris and White both made good gains. And I think that was, as much as anything, wearing the defence down.
Believe it or not, their running back or their running game only scored 100 yards.
Yeah.
But they were 100 definitive yards.
Yeah, good yards, weren't they? It was after the interceptions.
But actually, when you go down just numbers, if you hadn't watched the game and you go down numbers, it doesn't translate that they were that much better. And I don't think they were. I think it all came down to the fact that we had 4 stupid turnovers and we weren't clicking up on offense. We had Corey Davis, who was taken out of the game, essentially.
Yeah.
So obviously next week we move on to the Bengals. I'm looking at the wrong date. We've got the Broncos, and it's a later kickoff. I think this is going to help Zach. He made the comment in like a fleeting comment last week, which I mentioned earlier. He's not used to playing afternoon games because he didn't play any with BYU, which footballers are superstitious mofos. They don't like change. So I think we might see a different Zach under the lights. I mean, it's that mile high. Zach's used to playing in the hills.
Yeah,
I mean, Utah's pretty high, pretty flat, but high.
Yeah.
I mean, Teddy is coming in back to playing against the Jets. I mean, I was never against Teddy.
He's been good.
Teddy's a quality quarterback. Like, he's not a superstar, but he's going to come in. He's going to get you points. He's not going to turn the ball over. So we're going to have a good challenge against us. They don't have Judy, but they've still got Fant.
Yeah.
And
Cortland Sutton.
Yeah.
Everyone goes on about his arm as well, like half for a day. But with our system, like coaching, that helps. So like we'll get to them. We don't have time, and then the cornerbacks will be there.
Yeah, and we all know the one weakness Teddy has. He doesn't like get hit.
No.
I mean, after that injury he got in his rookie or year 2?
Third year.
Yeah.
The knee.
I can understand why
He's a bit scared.
that would scare everyone.
Yeah.
How are we feeling going into that after today? Obviously, loads of questions coming up on social media. Will Mims be at the team? I mean, if you go off some of the American sites, apparently we're dropping Zach tomorrow.
I think it's a different game against a very different coaching setup in the Broncos. It will be tough and challenging again, as it always is with the rookie quarterback. It doesn't really change from week to week. It's tough every week. But I think he's got the opportunity to put a line under this week and emphasise some ball security, which I think he'll do. I think he'll be aware that he's thrown 6 picks in 2 weeks. And I think they'll put an emphasis on, okay, we're not going to stop you throwing, but you're going to be a bit safer. We're going to make sure that this ball doesn't get turned over all the time, and maybe give him some easier throws.
I feel like a couple of those ones tonight, they were a little bit more unlucky. And there was a couple where I think the first one where we both said, if your fingers are going to hit it and you're not going to catch it, knock it out, knock it down, do something with it. You can't allow it to go over you, and they did. You know, fair dues. Going into Broncos, I'm pretty okay. We've got 2 more games before London.
Yeah.
I would like to see us improve against the Broncos and Tennessee the week after. It's going to be a tough game, but they're not looking
as strong as they did last year, are they?
And then we go into Falcons.
And they're not looking convincing either.
Yeah, so the next 3 games,
yeah,
it's key.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think when we did our pre-season things, we said by the end of week 5, we could be 2-3, or we could be 3-2. I still think that there's 2 winnable games there.
Yeah, I do as well. I think confidence will be a big thing for Zach as well. I think he'll build confidence through these next 2 or 3 games, and hopefully that will mean that we get a better show in London, which will be fantastic. But also that you'll start to see some of the silly mistakes drop out. We mentioned before, he missed more on the second interception tonight. Second half, they call a very similar play, and he hits the tight end for 5-yard gain. He should hit more for. So he's obviously learning quickly. He's obviously having these things brought to his attention by the offensive coordinator. So hopefully by then there will be a lot of improvements that he's made just week to week.
Yeah, I'm still feeling positive, guys. At no point do I think this season's going to get any easier than tonight. I think we're going to look at games and we're going to want to tear our hair out. But you know what? We just endure the suffering. We've done it for so long. This is moving. It feels different. I mean, it's the first time that we've been able to do even just a mini meet.
Yeah.
We've got bigger things coming. By the time you see the video, we've probably announced something. We've got a lot going on at the minute. We've got a new merch shop coming out.
Yeah.
We've got London edition jerseys. We've got pin badges. Obviously, we've got the sauce coming.
Yeah.
Guys, you want to tell them about the sauce. You've all tried it now. I know everybody knows I'm biased on it. What we thinking?
Yeah, very, very nice.
Proper barbecue stuff.
Yeah. Thick, sticky, and nice.
Which keep an eye out on the London meat post. It's going to be quite an exciting time for you barbecue lovers. Anybody else want to bring anything else up? No? Awesome. Well, catch us on the next one, guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.